Hi, I'm Tim Stevens. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if this is your first time visiting, we're sitting here with Miss Debbie Lanchin and Miss Wanda Clark, who was Lucille Ball's secretary for 25 years plus. Wanda, thank you for having us over again
Tim,
today.
it's a pleasure. I love being here, especially with you two.
Now, to recap how we met, I was in college taking a mass communications class, and our textbook said something that I had learned from you that was kind of contradictory to what you told me of Lucy. And the example in the textbook happened to do with Lucy. Do you remember what that was?
I do, and well, I don't remember it word for word, but so many people still say that Lucy was the businesswoman, the brains behind it. She gave Desi credit. It was Desi Arnaz, the visionary. Lucy did own the studio. She did make a lot of decisions after they split up, but she always gave Desi the credit for the success of their career.
And she was really not only a pioneer for women, but a pioneer for television.
And that's where Desi, people would say, oh, you can't do that. He says, why not? And would do it. So, because it had not been done before. He knew Lucy liked to work with an audience, and he went, well, first of all, the powers that be at CBS, all the TV shows in those days, in the early 50s, was filmed in New York City and sent to the West Coast by Kinescope, which is not a very successful project to watch. It had a lot of faults in the Kinescope transmission. And then Desi said, no, we're not going to move to New York. Lucy said, no, I'm not moving to New York. And he wanted to shoot with an audience because Lucy reacted best to an audience. And they said, you can't have an audience in a movie studio, because he wanted to shoot on 35 millimeter film. That was another innovation. If they'd have done it on tape, all those I Love Lucys would be gone. Because tape just deteriorates. And for 35 millimeter film, it's fine that you can still watch Lucy shows. But anyway, one problem after another, Desi would solve. He built bleachers in a movie studio. They said they had to have a door leading to the outside of the studio from the stage. He did that. He put public restrooms in. Just everything that they brought up, he fixed. So anyway, that's what Lucy would never take credit for the brains behind their success. It was Desi.
I wonder if it was hard getting people used to the idea of this whole new concept of coming into a studio to see something that was fairly new to America at that time, TV.
That's a very good point, because I don't remember ever hearing that. I think, and I Love Lucy had never been done. It was sort of based on her radio show character, which was called My Favorite Husband. That's another thing. CBS didn't want Desi Arnaz to play opposite Lucy. People said, oh, that people won't believe it. The audience won't believe that this all-American girl is married to a Cuban. And she says, but I am. And but I never thought about it. I don't think they ever had a minute's want for an audience. It was a crowd from the first time. But in those days, radio shows were done before an audience. So I guess the audience just followed them into TV.
So, like, they're the first TV show to ever be filmed in front of an audience?
I think so.
Oh. Because now you'll see, they'll tell you,
Yeah.
film in front of an audience.
And most of them are filmed on digital tape and things. It's
Yeah, they don't use film anymore.
editors look at a monitor and edit a show instead of our editors sat behind that and ran them through there and cut
and splice, and I think it's linear and non-linear editing is what they call it. But yeah, some people have asked me about editing myself, and I'm like, well, I've never physically taken a piece of film and cut it, and it's all been on a computer. I don't know. It's less work that way, but
It is.
I
yeah.
think you might be able to appreciate it more if you had been part of the kind of the foundation and the growth of the film industry back
And you
then.
can probably fix it any way you want. But anyway, I wasn't there in those days, but I have heard all the stories. And most of the stories I've heard was from my friend Cleo Smith, who was Lucy's cousin, but raised as a sister. So I believed what Cleo said, because she was there and it was the truth. You don't necessarily believe somebody just remembering or something.
Oh yeah.
Memories tend to fade.
They do fade.
Which is another reason that I love film and doing video stuff, because everything that happened is like I was telling somebody the other day, you know, that's why I've always loved to video things, because your memory strays and, you know,
Yeah.
it's definitely, as like from a child's perspective, seeing grandma's house through an adult's eyes, you know, everything seemed so much bigger back then. But
Well, I didn't keep a diary, you know, as I got older, and I think, why didn't I write a diary every day? Lucy Arnaz did, and still does. But I didn't, but I do have all my calendars, all my date books from the first year. And recently I was going through them with a friend of mine, some of them, and I kept saying, what does that mean? so I didn't.
I don't even know if we don't hear anything.
I didn't take very good notes,
But you still have a ton of memories and
Oh,
good
yeah.
times from
Oh,
those
yeah.
days.
You knew what it meant at the time.
yes, at the time that made perfect sense.
Yeah, now you're like, yeah, I don't know what I meant.
So, and to continue on what we were talking about a little while ago, that contradiction that I had found in talking with you about Lucy, you were actually invited to come to speak by my professor at Rogers State University, and you came and spoke for our class. And honestly, there was a lot of young people in there that weren't around to. I mean,
Yeah.
I love Lucy reruns still play today, and I know you weren't around during that time, but their parents and their grandparents probably would have killed for the opportunity
Yeah.
to get to see, you know, kind of the behind the scenes of what it was like to work with Lucy.
Oh, and I tell you right now, it was a long and happy association, and a kid from Oklahoma. I just happened to go to California in 1960. I just happened to have a friend who got me an interview with Lucy. Actually, it wasn't even an interview. My friend Cleo said, I know a girl, do you want to interview her? And Lucy said, no, if you like her, she's hired. So anyway, it's been almost 30 years, and I'm still close to her children and a few other Lucy people that are left. Anyway, it was my fairy tale, I say.
Well, and I know there's a ton of people that would love to have had your experiences, and I think that's a good place to stop for now. So we'll pick it up, and again in the next video on this YouTube channel, we'll continue talking with this round table format with Miss Wanda Clark and Debbie Lanchin, and we'll continue on with some behind the scenes memories next time.